In this video, we are going to look at solving inequalities. A couple of things you need to remember, that when you divide or multiply by a negative number, the inequality sign must be flipped round or reversed. Okay, so I'm now going to do an example, and this time I'll start with basic ones where we're going to solve the inequality and we'll display the answer on a number line. So we'll start with a basic one, 3x is greater than 12. So basically with inequalities you solve it exactly like you solve an equation. So I usually show my working down the right hand side. With this I'm going to divide both sides by 3, leaving my answer as x is greater than 4. And you can see I've displayed this on a number line, and it's an open circle because it does not include the number 4, so it's greater than 4. Alright, on to the second example where we've got x divided by minus 2 is less than 4. So you can see here that we are multiplying by a negative number to inverse this, so we're going to do that to both sides. That means we need to change the sign around. So I'll show my working on the right hand side. I'm going to multiply by negative 2. X is now, switch the sign around, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So again, it's not including the negative 8, so it's a closed circle, and obviously drawing an arrow up that way. Alright, I'm now going to do a harder example. Okay, so we're going to solve the following inequalities. 3x plus 5 is greater than negative 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5 from both sides. And I'm not multiplying and dividing, I'm just subtracting. So I'm left with 3x on the left is greater than negative 6. Finally, I'm going to separate. I want to isolate the x, so I'm going to divide by 3. So dividing by 3 leaves me with x is greater than negative 2. Now, moving over to b, we've got 3 minus 2x is less than 7. So the first thing I want to do is deal with this 3. So that means I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, leaving me with negative 2x on the left is less than 4. Now I want to divide by negative 2. Remember, when you divide by a negative number, you need to switch the sign. So I'm left with x, switch the sign, is greater than 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2. Okay, see, we've got a bit more of a complicated one now. We need to expand the brackets first on the right hand side. So we're left with 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 2x minus 14 plus the 5x. Before I begin solving, I'm now going to simplify the right hand side. I've got the 2x plus the 5x. So on the left it stays the same, and on the right I've got 7x minus 14. I can begin solving now. So remember, I take the smaller quantity of the x and I'm going to subtract 3x because it's currently a positive, so I want to get rid of it, leaving me on the left with negative 2 is greater than 4x minus 14. Then I'm going to get rid of this, so by adding 14 to both sides I'm left with 12 is greater than 4x, and finally last step is to divide by 4, leaving me with x on the right. This sign, 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now if you're not comfortable with it that way, that's actually x is less than or equal to 3, so we can switch that round just so that we can read it from left to right. And on to D now. So we've got fractions here. Now with this I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 because this is currently divided by 2, the whole of the left hand side. At the same time I'm going to show that I'm going to multiply by 3 because the whole of this side is divided by 3. So I'm actually going to do 2 steps here all in one. By that I'm going to use brackets. I can expand the brackets later on. Now let's expand. So I'm left with 15 minus 3x is greater than 6 plus 4x. Now let's look for the smaller quantity of the x's. Doesn't matter that it's a negative. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Add 3x to both sides, leaves me with 15 is greater than 6 plus 7x. Then I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Oops. Take 6, leaves me with 5, no, not 5, can't add. 9 is greater than 7x. And the final step is to divide by 7. So dividing by 7 leaves me with 9 over 7 on the left is greater than x. Now again, most people aren't comfortable reading this, so we're going to change it around because that currently reads that x is less than, because the open mouth is at the 9/7, so this is the greater than bit, so that is less than. So we get x is less than 9/7, so you can read it from left to right.